2 weeks had passed since Sarah and Jack Harper disappeared, leaving Cedar Creek in a state of despair. Ethan, an avid hiker seeking solace in nature, found himself drawn to the rugged wilderness surrounding the town. As he ventured deeper into the forest, he stumbled upon an old, overgrown trail hidden amidst the trees. Intrigued by its mystery, Ethan propelled himself forward, eager to explore the unknown. Following the trail led him to an abandoned mine, its entrance barely visible beneath layers of foliage and neglect. Ignoring the warning signs, Ethan's adventurous spirit urged him to enter, despite the ominous feeling that prickled at the back of his mind. With each step into the darkness, he couldn't shake the sense of foreboding that enveloped him, but his curiosity drove him deeper into the heart of the abandoned mine. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the silence of abandonment. Ethan's footsteps echoed off the walls as he ventured further into the darkness, his senses on high alert. Little did he know that his decision to explore the mine would unearth a discovery that would shake him to the core. Ethan's solitary journey through the wilderness led him to the abandoned mine 2 weeks after Sarah and Jack's disappearance. He followed the trail deeper into the forest, the rugged terrain posing a challenge that only fueled his determination. With each step, he felt a sense of anticipation building within him, eager to uncover the secrets hidden within the depths of the mine. As he approached the entrance, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, a sensation that sent shivers down his spine. Ignoring the warning signs, he pushed forward, unaware of what he was about to uncover. With each passing moment, the sense of unease grew stronger, but Ethan pressed on, determined to uncover the truth hidden within the darkness. Entering the mine, Ethan's senses were assaulted by the overwhelming silence and the musty scent of decay. The dim light cast eerie shadows across the walls, heightening the sense of unease that gripped him. With a deep breath, he steeled himself for the journey ahead. Knowing that whatever lay in wait within the abandoned mine, he was ready to face it head-on. Ethan's footsteps echoed off the walls as he ventured deeper into the abandoned mine, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. The darkness seemed to swallow him whole as he navigated the labyrinthine tunnels, his only guide the faint glow of his flashlight. With each step, the oppressive silence weighed heavy on his shoulders, heightening the sense of isolation that enveloped him. As he explored further, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, a sensation that sent a shiver down his spine. The walls seemed to close in around him, the air growing thicker with each passing moment. Despite the growing sense of unease, Ethan pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity to uncover the secrets hidden within the depths of the mine. Suddenly, a faint sound caught Ethan's attention, a soft whimper barely audible over the sound of his own breathing. Heart racing, Ethan followed the sound until he stumbled upon a shocking sight. A pair of children huddled together in a corner of the mine. Their faces were streaked with dirt and tears. With a surge of adrenaline, Ethan rushed to their side, his mind reeling with the realization that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he approached the huddled figures of the children, his mind racing with a mix of concern and confusion. Sarah and Jack Harper, missing for 2 weeks, sat before him, their eyes wide with fear and exhaustion. Ethan's initial relief at finding them quickly turned to alarm as he took in their appearance. Their clothes were torn, their faces streaked with dirt, and their bodies trembling with cold. With gentle reassurance, Ethan knelt beside the children, his voice calm and soothing as he tried to comfort them. He offered them water and snacks from his pack, his mind racing with questions about how they had ended up in such a desolate place. But as he spoke, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, a nagging sense of unease that gnawed at the edges of his consciousness. As he led the children out of the mine's dark confines and into the light of day, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than a simple hiking expedition gone wrong. The eerie silence of the abandoned mine echoed in his ears, a chilling reminder of the danger they had narrowly escaped. Little did Ethan know, his discovery was just the beginning of a journey that would test his courage and resolve in ways he never could have imagined. With each step out of the mine, Ethan's mind raced with a whirlwind of emotions: relief at finding the missing children, fear at the unknown dangers lurking in the darkness, and a gnawing sense of unease that refused to be ignored. As they emerged into the light of day, Ethan's eyes swept over the surrounding wilderness, searching for any sign of help or civilization. but all he saw was the vast expanse of trees stretching out before him, their branches whispering secrets he dared not comprehend. Sarah and Jack clung to Ethan's side, their small hands trembling as they clutched his shirt, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. Ethan did his best to reassure them, his voice steady despite the turmoil raging within him. But deep down, he knew that their ordeal was far from over, and that the true danger lay in the shadows waiting to claim them. As Ethan led the children back towards civilization, a sense of dread settled over him like a heavy blanket, weighing him down with each step. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, a sensation that sent a chill down his spine. Little did Ethan know, the true horror had only just begun, and the darkness that awaited them was far more sinister than anything he could have imagined. The journey back to Cedar Creek was fraught with tension, the air thick with unspoken fears and unanswered questions. Sarah and Jack clung to Ethan, their eyes darting nervously as they scanned the dense forest for any sign of danger. Ethan's mind raced with 1,000 possibilities, each more terrifying than the last, as he tried to make sense of their harrowing ordeal. As they finally reached the outskirts of town, relief washed over Ethan like a tidal wave. The familiar sights and sounds of civilization offered a welcome reprieve from the wilderness, but he knew that their journey was far from over. Sarah and Jack's parents were waiting anxiously at the edge of town, their faces etched with streaks of worry and despair. With tears of gratitude streaming down their faces, Sarah and Jack's parents enveloped them in a tight embrace, their voices choked with emotion as they thanked Ethan for bringing their children home. But even as Ethan shared in their joy, a nagging sense of doubt lingered in the back of his mind, a feeling that would only grow stronger in the days to come. As the initial euphoria of the reunion faded, Ethan found himself grappling with a growing sense of unease. Despite the Harper siblings' safe return, something about the situation didn't sit right with him. He couldn't shake the feeling that there were pieces of the puzzle missing, questions left unanswered amidst the tears of relief and gratitude. Returning home, Ethan pored over the newspaper clippings and police reports, searching for any clues that might shed light on the mystery of Sarah and Jack's disappearance. But the more he delved into the details, the more elusive the truth became, like trying to grasp smoke with bare hands. As days turned into weeks, Ethan's suspicions only deepened, his mind consumed by the need to uncover the hidden truths lurking beneath the surface. He knew that the key to unlocking the mystery lay within the abandoned mine, a dark and forbidding place that held secrets too terrible to imagine. With determination burning in his heart, Ethan resolved to return to the mine, determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan's determination to uncover the truth about the Harper siblings' disappearance only intensified. Despite the passage of time, the nagging feeling that something was off continued to gnaw at him, a persistent voice in the back of his mind, urging him to dig deeper. One afternoon, as Ethan roamed the streets of Cedar Creek in search of answers, he spotted a familiar face among the bustling crowd, the Harper siblings' father, Robert. His expression was one of weary resignation, the lines etched deep into his face betraying the toll the ordeal had taken on him. Approaching Robert, Ethan offered a sympathetic smile, his heart heavy with the weight of unspoken questions. The two men exchanged a knowing glance, a silent acknowledgement of the shared burden they carried. At that moment, Ethan knew that he was not alone in his quest for the truth, and that together, they would uncover the secrets hidden within the shadows. Ethan's encounter with Robert Harper reignited his resolve to unravel the mysteries surrounding the abandoned mine and the disappearance of Sarah and Jack. Armed with a renewed sense of purpose, he delved deeper into his investigation, scouring every corner of Cedar Creek for clues. Despite his efforts, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out, that every passing day brought them closer to a truth too terrible to comprehend. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him like a leaden cloak, driving him forward even as doubt threatened to consume him. Then, one fateful evening, as Ethan pored over old maps and newspaper clippings in his dimly lit study, he stumbled upon a crucial piece of information, a forgotten legend passed down through generations. The legend had been whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to speak its name. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Ethan realized that the truth he sought lay buried deep within the heart of the mine, waiting to be unearthed. As Ethan pieced together the fragments of information he had gathered, he couldn't shake the feeling that there were still unanswered questions lingering in the shadows. The legend he had uncovered spoke of darkness that had long plagued Cedar Creek, a malevolent force lurking within the abandoned mine, hungry for unsuspecting souls. With each passing day, Ethan's sense of urgency grew, fueled by a relentless determination to uncover the truth and put an end to the darkness once and for all. But as he delved deeper into the mystery, he found himself facing obstacles at every turn, roadblocks erected by those who sought to keep the truth buried. Undeterred, Ethan pressed on, his mind consumed by the need to uncover the secrets hidden within the depths of the mine. He knew that the answers he sought lay just beyond his reach, waiting to be discovered amidst the darkness and despair. With courage as his guide, Ethan resolved to face whatever dangers lay ahead, knowing that the fate of Cedar Creek hung in the balance. Nightmares plagued Ethan's sleep, visions of dark tunnels and echoing cries haunting his every waking moment. The weight of the mystery he pursued bore down on him, threatening to suffocate him with its sheer magnitude. Despite the fear that gripped his heart, Ethan refused to relent, his determination burning bright even in the darkest of hours. As he wandered the streets of Cedar Creek, the townsfolk whispered tales of the abandoned mine, their voices filled with dread and superstition. Ethan listened intently, piecing together fragments of truth, hidden amidst the rumors and speculation. He knew that the key to unlocking the mystery lay within the heart of the darkness that lurked beneath the earth. With each step closer to the truth, Ethan felt the pull of the mine growing stronger, its sinister presence beckoning him into its depths. He knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but he could no longer ignore the call of destiny that echoed in his soul. With a heavy heart and a steely resolve, Ethan prepared to face the darkness head-on, knowing that only by confronting his fears could he hope to uncover the truth that lay hidden within the shadows. With the weight of uncertainty heavy on his shoulders, Ethan embarked on his journey into the heart of the abandoned mine. Armed with nothing but a flickering flashlight and his unyielding resolve, he ventured into the darkness, each step forward a testament to his courage and determination. As he descended deeper into the bowels of the earth, Ethan's senses were assaulted by the oppressive silence and the suffocating embrace of the darkness. The air grew thick with the scent of decay, the only sound the echo of his footsteps against the cold, damp walls. Despite the overwhelming sense of dread that threatened to overwhelm him, Ethan pressed on, driven by an unshakable belief that the truth lay waiting to be discovered amidst the shadows. With each passing moment, the mine seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy, its secrets whispering tantalizingly just beyond his reach. With every step, Ethan drew closer to the heart of the mystery, unaware of the dangers that lurked just beyond the reach of his flickering light. As Ethan ventured deeper into the mine's labyrinthine tunnels, a sense of foreboding settled over him like a suffocating blanket. The darkness seemed to press in from all sides, threatening to swallow him whole. Yet, he pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity to uncover the truth that lay hidden within the depths. Suddenly, a flickering light caught Ethan's eye, drawing him towards a hidden chamber nestled deep within the bowels of the mine. With cautious steps, he approached, his heart pounding in his chest as he braced himself for whatever secrets lay ahead. What he found sent a chill down his spine, a makeshift altar adorned with candles and strange symbols etched into the walls. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within the mine's depths. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Ethan realized that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. As Ethan stood frozen in horror before the makeshift altar, a sense of impending doom washed over him like a tidal wave. The flickering candlelight cast grotesque shadows on the walls, the symbols etched into the stone, seeming to writhe and twist in the dim light. With a surge of adrenaline, Ethan knew that he had to get out of there. And fast. Turning on his heel, Ethan bolted down the narrow passage, his footsteps echoing off the walls as he raced toward the safety of daylight. Panic clawed at his chest, threatening to overwhelm him as he struggled to put distance between himself and the sinister chamber he had stumbled upon. But just as he thought he was safe, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, blocking his path with an eerie calmness. Ethan's blood ran cold as he stared into the empty void of its eyes, a primal fear gripping him in its icy embrace. With nowhere left to run, Ethan braced himself for the confrontation that lay ahead, knowing that his only chance of survival depended on his ability to outwit the darkness that sought to claim him. Trapped in the depths of the abandoned mine, Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he faced off against the shadowy figure blocking his escape. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, to find a way out before it was too late. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Ethan prepared to make a desperate bid for freedom. With lightning speed, Ethan lunged past the shadowy figure, his heart pounding in his ears as he raced through the narrow tunnels. Behind him, he could hear the echoing footsteps of his pursuer, drawing closer with each passing moment. With every fiber of his being, Ethan pushed himself harder, his mind focused on one thing and one thing alone: survival. As he neared the entrance to the mine, a glimmer of hope pierced the darkness, driving him forward with renewed determination. With a burst of speed, Ethan burst into the blinding light of day, his lungs burning with exertion as he stumbled into the open air. But even as he emerged from the depths of the mine, Ethan knew that the true battle lay ahead, and that the darkness he had faced was far from defeated.
Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story.
Gasping for breath, Ethan collapsed onto the ground outside the mine, his body trembling with exhaustion and relief. As he lay there, the events of the past hours played out in his mind like a nightmarish film reel. He had faced the darkness head-on, confronted the shadows lurking within the abandoned mine, and narrowly escaped with his life. But even as relief washed over him, Ethan knew that his ordeal was far from over. The sinister presence that had haunted the mine still lurked in the shadows, its malevolent energy permeating the very air around him. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Ethan realized that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. As he struggled to catch his breath, Ethan's mind raced with 1,000 questions, each more terrifying than the last. Who or what was behind the darkness that plagued Cedar Creek? And what did they want with him? With a heavy heart, Ethan knew that the answers lay within the heart of the mine, waiting to be uncovered amidst the darkness and despair. With a sense of grim determination, Ethan knew he couldn't turn away from the looming threat. The safety of Cedar Creek and its inhabitants depended on his willingness to confront the darkness head-on. Despite the fear that threatened to paralyze him, Ethan steeled himself for the challenges that lay ahead. Armed with newfound resolve, Ethan delved back into the depths of the mine, his senses on high alert as he navigated the twisting tunnels and eerie chambers. Every shadow seemed to whisper secrets, every gust of wind carrying a faint echo of malevolent laughter. But Ethan pressed on, refusing to be cowed by the darkness that threatened to engulf him. As he ventured deeper into the heart of the mine, Ethan could feel the presence of his unseen adversary drawing closer, its dark energy pulsing through the very earth beneath his feet. With each step, the tension in the air grew thicker, the sense of impending doom hanging over him like a shroud. But Ethan knew that he had come too far to turn back now. With courage as his guide, he prepared to face whatever horrors awaited him in the depths, knowing that the fate of Cedar Creek depended on his ability to overcome the darkness that lurked within. As Ethan ventured deeper into the heart of the mine, the oppressive darkness seemed to close in around him, suffocating him with its malevolent presence. Every shadow seemed to twist and contort, every whisper sending shivers down his spine. But Ethan pressed on, his determination unwavering in the face of overwhelming odds. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the darkness, a chilling whisper that sent a shiver down Ethan's spine. It was the voice of his unseen adversary, taunting him with promises of pain and suffering. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Ethan realized that he was not alone in the depths of the mine, and that the darkness that surrounded him was far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. Summoning every ounce of courage within him, Ethan called out into the darkness, his voice trembling with fear and defiance. He pleaded with his unseen adversary to release him, to end the torment that had plagued him for so long. But his words fell on deaf ears, drowned out by the malevolent laughter that echoed through the tunnels, mocking him in his moment of desperation. With nowhere left to turn, Ethan braced himself for the final confrontation that lay ahead, knowing that his only chance of survival depended on his ability to outwit the darkness that sought to consume him. With his heart pounding in his chest, Ethan faced the darkness that surrounded him, steeling himself for the confrontation that lay ahead. As he stood in the depths of the mine, he could feel the malevolent energy pulsing through the air, threatening to overwhelm him with its suffocating presence. But Ethan refused to be intimidated, his resolve unyielding in the face of the darkness that sought to consume him. Summoning every ounce of courage within him, Ethan confronted his unseen adversary head-on, his voice ringing out with a steely determination. With each word he spoke, he felt a glimmer of hope ignite within him, a spark of light amidst the shadows that threatened to engulf him. For the first time, Ethan dared to believe that he could emerge victorious, that he could banish the darkness once and for all. As the battle raged on, Ethan felt a surge of power coursing through his veins, driving back the shadows that surrounded him. With each blow he struck, he felt the darkness weakening, its grip on him loosening with every passing moment. And as the final echoes of the confrontation faded into the darkness, Ethan emerged victorious, his spirit unbroken by the trials he had faced. With a newfound sense of purpose, he vowed to protect Cedar Creek from the darkness that threatened to consume it, knowing that his journey was far from over. With the darkness banished and peace restored to the depths of the mine, Ethan emerged from the shadows, his spirit buoyed by a newfound sense of purpose. As he stepped into the light of day, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders, the burden of the past finally lifted from his weary soul. With each passing moment, Cedar Creek began to heal, its scars slowly fading into memory. Ethan's presence served as a beacon of hope for the townsfolk, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was always light to guide them through the storm. As he looked out over the town he had sworn to protect, Ethan felt a sense of pride swell within him. With the support of his friends and allies, he knew that they could overcome any obstacle that stood in their way, and that the future held endless possibilities for Cedar Creek and its inhabitants. In the aftermath of the darkness that had plagued Cedar Creek, Ethan took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought him to this point. He thought back to the day he stumbled upon the abandoned mine, unaware of the horrors that lay hidden within its depths. It had been a journey filled with fear and uncertainty, but also one of courage and resilience. As he looked back on the trials he had faced, Ethan felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. Gratitude for the friends who had stood by his side, for the allies who had lent their support, and for the strength he had found within himself to confront the darkness head-on. But amidst the reflections, Ethan knew that his journey was far from over. There were still mysteries to unravel, challenges to overcome, and adventures yet to be had. With a renewed sense of purpose, Ethan vowed to continue his quest to protect Cedar Creek and its inhabitants, knowing that no matter what trials lay ahead, he would face them with courage and determination. As Cedar Creek began to rebuild in the aftermath of the darkness, Ethan found himself at the center of a community united in its determination to move forward. The scars left by the ordeal were still fresh, but with each passing day, hope blossomed anew. Ethan worked tirelessly to rebuild the trust that had been shattered by the events of the past, reaching out to those who had been affected by the darkness and offering his support in any way he could. He knew that healing would take time, but he was determined to do whatever it took to help his friends and neighbors find peace once more. With each small victory, Ethan felt a sense of pride swell within him, knowing that he was making a difference in the lives of those he cared about. As Cedar Creek emerged from the darkness stronger than ever, Ethan knew that their journey was far from over. But with each step forward, they moved closer to a future filled with promise and possibility. As Cedar Creek continued to heal and rebuild, Ethan found himself filled with a sense of optimism for the future. The town had weathered the storm of darkness and emerged stronger than ever, united by a common purpose and a shared sense of resilience. With each passing day, new life breathed into the once quiet streets of Cedar Creek. Buildings were repaired, gardens bloomed, and laughter once again filled the air. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of the townsfolk, who refused to be defined by the darkness that had threatened to consume them. For Ethan, the sight of Cedar Creek's rebirth filled him with a sense of pride unlike any he had ever known. As he walked the streets, he saw the faces of friends and neighbors who had stood by him in the darkest of times, their strength and courage a constant source of inspiration. With their support, Ethan knew that there was nothing they couldn't overcome, and that the future held endless possibilities for Cedar Creek and its inhabitants. In the wake of the darkness that had threatened to tear Cedar Creek apart, Ethan found the bonds of friendship and community growing stronger than ever before. Together, the townsfolk rallied around each other, offering support and solidarity in the face of adversity. As they worked side by side to rebuild their homes and their lives, Ethan witnessed the resilience of the human spirit firsthand. Neighbors lent a helping hand to those in need, strangers became friends, and old wounds began to heal in the light of newfound hope. For Ethan, the sense of camaraderie that permeated Cedar Creek was a testament to the strength of the human heart. As he looked out over the town, he knew that they had weathered the storm together, emerging from the darkness stronger and more united than ever before. And as they moved forward into the future, Ethan knew that they would face whatever challenges came their way with courage, determination, and the unwavering support of their community. With the shadows of the past finally behind them, Ethan and the residents of Cedar Creek looked toward the future with renewed optimism and determination. The town streets bustled with activity as life returned to normalcy. Yet there was an underlying sense of gratitude and resilience that permeated every corner. Ethan found himself embracing the opportunities that lay ahead, eager to explore new horizons and continue his journey of growth and discovery. He knew that the lessons learned from their ordeal would stay with them forever, guiding them as they forged ahead into uncharted territory. As he walked through the familiar streets of Cedar Creek, Ethan felt a profound sense of gratitude for the community that had stood by him through thick and thin. Together, they had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it, their bonds of friendship and solidarity unbreakable in the face of adversity. With a hopeful heart and a steadfast resolve, Ethan looked towards the future with unwavering optimism, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as one united community, ready to embrace whatever the future held in store. As Cedar Creek continued to rebuild and move forward, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness they had faced had left lingering shadows in its wake. Despite the town's outward appearance of resilience, there were whispers of unrest among the townsfolk, a sense of unease that lingered just beneath the surface. Ethan knew that their journey was far from over, and that new challenges lay ahead, waiting to test their resolve once more. He found himself haunted by the memories of their ordeal, unable to shake the feeling that there was still work to be done before true peace could be restored to Cedar Creek. With a heavy heart, Ethan resolved to confront the challenges that lay ahead head-on, knowing that the strength of their community would see them through even the darkest of times. As he prepared to face the unknown, Ethan knew that the bonds forged in the fires of adversity would be their greatest weapon against whatever trials lay ahead. Despite the efforts to move forward, tension simmered beneath the surface of Cedar Creek, like a dormant volcano waiting to erupt. Ethan sensed the unease among the townsfolk, the whispers of fear and suspicion that hung heavy in the air. Rumors circulated of strange occurrences in the dead of night, whispers of shadowy figures seen lurking in the shadows, of strange symbols etched into the earth under the cover of darkness. Ethan knew that these whispers could not be ignored, that they were a harbinger of the darkness threatening to engulf Cedar Creek once more. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Ethan knew that the time had come to confront the darkness head-on before it could spread its tendrils any further. He rallied the townsfolk to his side, their determination unwavering as they prepared to face whatever lay ahead. For Ethan, the battle against the darkness had only just begun, and the fate of Cedar Creek hung in the balance once more. As tension continued to mount in Cedar Creek, Ethan and the townsfolk banded together, preparing for the looming threat that lurked just beyond the horizon. They fortified their defenses, strengthened their resolve, and stood ready to face whatever darkness dared to encroach upon their beloved town once more. Ethan led the charge, his determination unwavering as he sought to uncover the source of the growing unrest. With each passing day, the whispers of fear grew louder, the shadows deeper and more ominous. But Ethan refused to back down, his spirit unyielding in the face of adversity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the town, Ethan knew that the time had come to confront the darkness head-on. With a heavy heart and a steely resolve, he steeled himself for the battle that lay ahead, knowing that the fate of Cedar Creek hung in the balance once more. Under the cover of darkness, Ethan and a small group of determined townsfolk ventured out into the night, their hearts heavy with anticipation and resolve. They moved cautiously through the streets of Cedar Creek, their senses on high alert for any sign of the looming threat that had cast a shadow over their town. As they reached the outskirts, Ethan's instincts led them towards the source of the growing unrest, A secluded grove shrouded in darkness, where whispered rumors hinted at unspeakable horrors lurking just beyond the tree line. With bated breath, Ethan and his companions entered the grove, their footsteps muffled by the soft earth beneath their feet. The air was thick with tension, every rustle of leaves sending a shiver down their spines. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the darkness, followed by the sound of sinister laughter. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Ethan knew that they had stumbled upon something far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. As they braced themselves for the confrontation that lay ahead, Ethan prayed that their courage would be enough to overcome the darkness that threatened to consume them. As Ethan and his companions pressed deeper into the grove, the darkness seemed to thicken around them, suffocating them with its malevolent presence. Shadows danced in the moonlight, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to leer at them from the depths of the forest. With each step forward, Ethan's heart pounded in his chest, his senses on high alert for any sign of danger. The air grew heavy with the stench of decay, a foul odor that seemed to cling to their skin like a suffocating shroud. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, its form shrouded in darkness. Ethan's breath caught in his throat as he stared into the empty void of its eyes, a primal fear gripping him in its icy embrace. With a voice that sent chills down his spine, the figure spoke, its words dripping with malice and contempt. "You dare to challenge me?" it hissed, its voice echoing through the darkness like a whisper of doom. "You cannot hope to stand against the darkness that lurks within these woods. Surrender now, and I may spare you from the fate that awaits." Ethan refused to back down, his spirit unbroken by the darkness that surrounded him. With a steely resolve, he stepped forward to face his adversary, knowing that the fate of Cedar Creek hung in the balance. The true battle had begun. As Ethan stood face to face with the sinister figure, a sense of determination burned within him like a beacon of light amidst the darkness. He refused to cower in fear, knowing that the fate of Cedar Creek depended on his willingness to confront the darkness head-on. With a defiant roar, Ethan raised his voice, his words ringing out with a courage born of desperation and resolve. "I will not surrender to you," he declared, his voice echoing through the grove. "Cedar Creek will not fall to your darkness. We will stand united against you, and we will prevail." The figure recoiled at Ethan's words, its form wavering in the moonlight as if struck by an unseen force. For a moment, the darkness seemed to retreat, its malevolent energy fading into the shadows. But Ethan knew that the battle was far from over, and that they could not afford to let their guard down for even a moment. With a renewed sense of determination, Ethan and his companions braced themselves for the confrontation that lay ahead, knowing that they would need all their strength and courage to overcome the darkness that threatened to engulf them. The fate of Cedar Creek hung in the balance, and they would not rest until the light had triumphed over the shadows once and for all. Ethan's defiant words echoed through the grove, igniting a spark of hope within the hearts of his companions. With renewed determination, they stood shoulder to shoulder, ready to face whatever darkness dared to threaten their beloved town. Drawing strength from each other, Ethan and his companions advanced towards the shadowy figure, their resolve unwavering despite the fear that gnawed at the edges of their minds. They knew that they could not allow the darkness to triumph, not when the future of Cedar Creek hung in the balance. As they closed in on their adversary, Ethan felt a surge of power welling up within him, a beacon of light amidst the darkness that surrounded them. With a fierce battle cry, he unleashed the full force of his determination, channeling it into a powerful burst of energy that struck the shadowy figure head-on. For a moment, the grove was bathed in blinding light, illuminating the darkness and driving back the shadows that threatened to engulf them. And in that moment, Ethan knew that they had struck a decisive blow against the forces of evil that sought to tear Cedar Creek apart. But he also knew that the true battle was yet to come, and that they must remain vigilant in their quest to protect their home from the darkness that lurked just beyond the edge of the light. As the light surged forward, pushing back the shadows that had threatened to consume Cedar Creek, Ethan and his companions stood their ground, their hearts pounding with the exhilaration of victory. The shadowy figure recoiled, its form wavering in the brilliant glow of the light, its sinister presence weakening with each passing moment. With a defiant roar, Ethan and his companions pressed forward, their determination unwavering as they drove the darkness back, step by step. The grove echoed with the clash of light and shadow, the air thick with the crackling energy of their battle. And then, with a final burst of light, the darkness retreated, vanishing into the depths of the forest like a wisp of smoke in the wind. Ethan and his companions stood victorious, their spirits soaring as they watched the last remnants of the shadows fade into nothingness. But even as they celebrated their hard-won victory, Ethan knew that the battle against the darkness was far from over. The shadows may have retreated for now, but he knew that they would return, their hunger for Cedar Creek's destruction as insatiable as ever. With a heavy heart, Ethan vowed to remain vigilant, knowing that the true test of their courage and resolve still lay ahead. As the adrenaline of battle began to ebb away, Ethan and his companions took a moment to catch their breath, their minds reeling from the intensity of their confrontation with the darkness. The grove around them seemed to sigh with relief, the air now clear of the oppressive malevolence that had plagued it moments before. With weary smiles, Ethan and his companions exchanged glances, their eyes reflecting a mixture of relief, exhaustion, and triumph. They had faced the darkness head-on and emerged victorious, their bond as a community stronger than ever before. But even as they celebrated their hard-won victory, Ethan knew that the scars left by the darkness would not fade easily. They had faced horrors beyond imagination, and the memories of their ordeal would linger long after the shadows had retreated. With a heavy heart, Ethan knew that their journey was far from over. The darkness may have been vanquished for now, but he knew that it would return, its hunger for Cedar Creek's destruction as insatiable as ever. And when it did, they would be ready to face it once more, united in their determination to protect their home from the shadows that lurked just beyond the edge of the light. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into the night, Ethan and his companions gathered together, their spirits buoyed by the hard-won victory against the darkness. Despite the weariness that weighed heavily upon them, there was a newfound resolve burning in their hearts, a determination to stand strong against whatever trials lay ahead. With a sense of camaraderie that had only deepened in the face of adversity, they vowed to remain vigilant, to watch over Cedar Creek with unwavering dedication and courage. For they knew that the shadows would always seek to encroach upon their home, but as long as they stood united, they would never falter in their defense of what they held dear. As they prepared to return to the safety of Cedar Creek, Ethan felt a sense of pride swell within him. A pride not just in their victory, but in the bonds of friendship and community that had seen them through the darkest of times. With a final glance back at the grove, Ethan knew that they had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it, ready to face whatever challenges the future held with courage and resilience. As Ethan and his companions made their way back to Cedar Creek, a sense of peace settled over the town, their victory against the darkness serving as a beacon of hope for all who called it home. The streets bustled with renewed energy and determination, the townsfolk united in their resolve to rebuild and move forward. With each passing day, Cedar Creek flourished anew, its buildings repaired, its gardens blooming, and its spirit indomitable. The scars left by the darkness were still visible, but they served as a reminder of the strength and resilience of the community that had faced them head-on and emerged victorious. Ethan watched with pride as Cedar Creek embraced the future with open arms, knowing that their journey was far from over, but confident in their ability to overcome whatever challenges lay ahead. For in the face of darkness, they had found the light within themselves, a light that would guide them through even the darkest of times. With the darkness vanquished and Cedar Creek basking in the light of victory, Ethan turned his focus toward the task of healing. The scars left by their ordeal ran deep, not just in the physical sense, but in the hearts and minds of those who had endured the darkness. Ethan worked tirelessly to support his fellow townsfolk, offering a listening ear and a comforting presence to those who still bore the weight of their trauma. Together, they sought solace in each other's company, finding strength in their shared experiences and the bonds of friendship that had carried them through the darkest of times. As the days turned into weeks, Ethan watched with pride as Cedar Creek began to heal, its wounds slowly but surely fading into memory. The town was alive once more, its streets filled with laughter and joy as the townsfolk embraced the promise of a brighter tomorrow. But even as they moved forward, Ethan knew that the scars of their ordeal would never truly fade. They would always serve as a reminder of the darkness they had faced and the strength they had found within themselves to overcome it. And as Cedar Creek continued to flourish, Ethan vowed to never forget the lessons they had learned, and the bonds that had been forged in the fires of adversity. As Cedar Creek continued to heal, Ethan recognized the importance of rebuilding trust within the community. The darkness had shattered their sense of security, leaving behind a lingering fear that threatened to erode the bonds that held them together. Ethan worked tirelessly to mend the frayed relationships and restore faith in their collective strength. He encouraged open communication and honest dialogue, creating a safe space for the townsfolk to share their fears and concerns without judgment. Through acts of kindness and compassion, Ethan and his fellow residents began to rebuild the trust that had been lost. They leaned on each other for support, drawing strength from their shared experiences and their unwavering commitment to one another. As the days passed, Ethan witnessed the gradual rekindling of hope within Cedar Creek, a renewed sense of unity and purpose that fortified their resolve to move forward together. And with each small step towards reconciliation, Ethan knew that their community grew stronger, ready to face whatever challenges the future held, with unwavering trust and solidarity. In the wake of their victory over the darkness, Ethan and the residents of Cedar Creek embraced a newfound resilience that permeated every aspect of their lives. They refused to be defined by the trials they had faced, instead choosing to focus on the strength and courage that had carried them through the darkest of times. With each passing day, Cedar Creek flourished, its spirit unbroken by the shadows that had once threatened to consume it. The townsfolk worked tirelessly to rebuild their homes and their lives, their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. As they looked towards the future, Ethan felt a sense of pride swell within him. A pride not just in their ability to overcome the darkness, but in the indomitable spirit of the community that had stood by his side through it all. Together, they had faced the greatest challenge of their lives and emerged victorious, their bonds stronger than ever before. With a renewed sense of purpose and a steadfast resolve, Ethan knew that there was nothing they couldn't accomplish as long as they stood united. For in the face of darkness, they had found the light within themselves, a light that would guide them through even the darkest of times. With Cedar Creek flourishing once more, and the darkness banished from their midst, Ethan and the townsfolk came together to celebrate their victory and the resilience of their community. The streets were alive with music and laughter as they rejoiced in the newfound peace that enveloped their town. Ethan watched with a smile as children danced and played, their carefree laughter ringing out like a melody of hope. Families gathered around tables laden with food and drink, sharing stories and memories of the trials they had faced and overcome together. As the sun set on Cedar Creek, casting a warm glow over the town, Ethan felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. Gratitude for the friends and neighbors who had stood by his side, for the strength and courage that had carried them through the darkest of times, and for the enduring spirit of Cedar Creek that had never wavered in the face of adversity. As they raised their voices in song and laughter, Ethan knew that their journey was far from over, but he also knew that as long as they stood united, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. For in the heart of Cedar Creek, the light of hope burned bright, illuminating the path towards a future filled with promise and possibility. Amidst the celebrations, Ethan took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought them to this point. He marveled at the resilience of the human spirit, the bonds of friendship and community that had carried them through even the darkest of times. As he looked out over the joyous crowd gathered in the town square, Ethan felt a sense of pride swell within him. They had faced their fears, confronted the darkness, and emerged stronger for it. And now, as they looked towards the future, Ethan knew that their journey was far from over. With a renewed sense of purpose, Ethan vowed to continue his quest to protect Cedar Creek and its inhabitants from whatever challenges lay ahead. He knew that there would be trials and tribulations along the way, but he also knew that they would face them with courage, resilience, and the unwavering support of their community. As the night wore on and the celebrations continued, Ethan raised a toast to the future, knowing that whatever the future held, they would face it together, as one united community, ready to overcome whatever obstacles stood in their way. For in the heart of Cedar Creek, hope burned bright, a beacon of light guiding them toward a brighter tomorrow. As the celebrations gradually wound down and Cedar Creek settled into a peaceful night, Ethan found himself unable to shake the restless stirrings of adventure that had taken root in his heart. Despite the tranquility that surrounded him, a part of him yearned for the thrill of the unknown, the excitement of new challenges and discoveries. With a sense of anticipation coursing through his veins, Ethan knew that he could not ignore the call of adventure that beckoned him onward. He longed to explore distant lands, to embark on quests that would test his mettle and push the boundaries of his courage. As he gazed up at the star-strewn sky, Ethan felt a sense of destiny stirring within him. He knew that his journey was far from over, that there were still mysteries to unravel, adventures to be had, and battles to be fought. With a determined gleam in his eye, Ethan resolved to follow the call of adventure wherever it may lead him, knowing that the road ahead would be fraught with peril and uncertainty, but also filled with the promise of discovery and triumph. And as he set out into the night, his heart filled with excitement and anticipation, Ethan knew that the greatest adventure of his life was only just beginning. With the dawn of a new day, Ethan set forth on his journey, his heart filled with excitement and anticipation for the adventures that awaited him. He bid farewell to the familiar streets of Cedar Creek, knowing that he carried with him the strength and resilience of his community wherever he went. As he ventured beyond the boundaries of his hometown, Ethan found himself immersed in a world of wonder and possibility. Every step brought him closer to new experiences, new challenges, and new friends waiting to be made. Along the way, Ethan encountered breathtaking landscapes, ancient ruins steeped in mystery, and bustling towns filled with stories waiting to be told. Each encounter fueled his sense of adventure, driving him ever onward toward the next great discovery. With each passing day, Ethan felt a sense of purpose blossoming within him, knowing that he was following the path laid out before him with courage and determination. And as he journeyed into the unknown, he knew that Cedar Creek would always be his home, a beacon of light guiding him on his quest for adventure. As Ethan journeyed further into the unknown, he encountered trials that tested his courage, resolve, and ingenuity. From treacherous mountain passes to dense jungles teeming with wildlife, each obstacle presented its own unique challenges, pushing Ethan to his limits and beyond. Yet, with each trial he faced, Ethan emerged stronger and more determined than before. He drew upon the lessons he had learned in Cedar Creek, relying on the bonds of friendship and community to guide him through even the darkest of times. Along the way, Ethan made new friends and allies, individuals whose paths intersected with his own, each bringing their own strengths and perspectives to the journey. Together, they faced dangers and overcame obstacles that would have been insurmountable alone. As they ventured deeper into uncharted territory, Ethan felt a sense of exhilaration course through him, knowing that with each step, he was forging his own path and leaving a mark upon the world. And as he looked towards the horizon, he knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead, waiting to be discovered. After months of adventure and exploration, Ethan's journey eventually led him back to Cedar Creek. As he entered the familiar streets, he was greeted with the warmth of familiar faces and the comforting embrace of home. Reflecting on his travels, Ethan realized that while he had ventured far and wide, Cedar Creek would always hold a special place in his heart. It was here that he had faced his greatest challenges, forged lifelong friendships, and discovered the strength within himself. As he reunited with friends and neighbors, Ethan shared tales of his adventures, recounting the trials and triumphs that had shaped him into the person he had become. And as the sun set over Cedar Creek, casting a golden glow over the town, Ethan knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be. With a newfound appreciation for the beauty and wonder of his hometown, Ethan vowed to continue his adventures while always carrying the spirit of Cedar Creek with him wherever he went. For in the end, it was the journey itself that mattered most, and Ethan knew that he had found his true home in the hearts of those he loved.